Okay. I am going to show you today how to remove an object in Photoshop, even if you don't know Photoshop very well. I think a lot of people get really bogged down by the fact that Photoshop is such an enormous program, and it is an enormous program. I completely agree with you. But I think that this is really simple to do, even if you have very little experience in Photoshop. So this is a pre-edited image that I am opening in Photoshop. So I edited this through Lightroom, and now I'm bringing it in just to get rid of this upper level. Yes, you can do certain things, like little small things you can get rid of in Lightroom very easily. They have a better content aware option now with their newer updates. That being said, I still think bigger sections like this are so much easier to be done in Photoshop. So I use this tool all the time, constantly on images that I want to fix. I just think the sort of artificial intelligence of Photoshop is a little bit stronger and a little bit better than it is in Lightroom still. So all I've done is open this photo in here. All you simply need to do is File, Open, and you can open up the JPEG that's already there. It would open up in a window just like this. So if this is where you are in Photoshop and that's about all you know how to do, then this is perfect for you. So the next thing I'm going to do is choose Lasso. Lasso, the quick way to do this is just press L on your keyboard. And now I'm going to do a very rough circle around this sort of piece that I want to erase. I find actually doing like rougher circles works better than trying to sort of perfectly work around it, in which case it doesn't fill in really nicely. So this is what we call marching ants. So that's the area I've selected. This is on a background layer, so there are no other layers. And now I'm going to fill it. So you say Edit, and then fill. There is actually this button, content aware fill. I use them both, but I will tell you that this one is a little bit trickier to understand. So if you're just getting into Photoshop, I find that fill works just fine. And then just make sure under contents right here that it's set to content aware. There are several other options under here. So you wouldn't want to be set to something like black, in which case it would just fill that space with black. So make sure it's set to content aware, and I leave everything else entirely alone. And then just press OK. And so the artificial intelligence of the program is going to now fill in this upper level spot. So if I didn't like that, or I wasn't sure I liked a certain part of it, say I didn't like this, I don't know, extra section up here, you could redo that entire thing and just rerun it to see if it works. You could also keep circling it. So I do this sometimes a few times just to make sure it looks the way I want. When I took this image, I could have framed out this upper section, and I did that in the next few images, but I still liked this sort of hazy image, and I wanted to keep this. So because of that, I knew that this was going to be a problem that I would have to take out in Photoshop. Now, here we have a couple extra things. I mean, these are nothing really, but some people like to take these out. So you can just simply circle any of these areas that you want to kind of fix up. And the AI usually does a really clean job of getting rid of some of these extra things. So if you find that anything is taking your attention away, anything is like a little bit too sharp, or you just don't like it in the image, you can usually remove it pretty quickly without anybody really noticing. So this I use to remove small little things, usually bigger sections like that. But I wanted to show you how you could smooth out some of this um, on the sand as well, if that was something that bothered you. So you can kind of clean up a few little areas around, and nobody at this point would think that this was not part of the regular rock formation. So I think it looks a lot better than the original. So if you actually want to look at the original, there's a history panel right here, and you can click to the top one so you can kind of see that difference. So here's that original, and then I can click down to the very bottom one that I have done. So that brings you back to that space. So you can kind of see those differences if you want. I could also make that smaller and move it aside so you could see that a little bit better. So at the top, I've also straightened out my horizon, which was driving me crazy. And then here's what we've done. So little ways to fix something very quickly in Photoshop using Lasso tool and Edit, Fill, Content Aware. I hope that was helpful.